Hello, my name is Rachel. Thank you for coming by my channel for another week of What's for Dinners. Here I am making tacos for Father's Day. I gave Bill the option of having whatever he wanted for dinner, and he chose tacos with crunchy taco shells. So I am just seasoning up my meat with some taco seasoning and some minced onion. Just gonna let that cook through and drain it just like any old regular taco meat. And so now I have some gloves on because I'm going to grill some jalapenos, and I'm going to use some of that taco meat, and I just added a half of a block of cream cheese, and then I popped it in the microwave to get it softened and melty, and then just gave it a stir. At the last minute I realized I had a tiny bit of real bacon pieces in my refrigerator, and I'm talking about maybe only a tablespoon at the most, but I decided to go ahead and throw them in because I don't know, we always put bacon in our jalapenos and cheese. So in goes the bacon pieces, and I just mix that all together, and I'm going to just stuff my jalapenos with this taco meat mixture and make some jalapeno boats with them. I don't always wear gloves when I handle jalapenos, but this time I decided it would be wise. The last time that we did jalapenos, we both were continually rubbing our skin and burning ourselves, so you have to be careful with that. And I'm making sure that I get all of the seeds out of my jalapenos this time. Usually I leave a little bit in there because we do like the heat of them, and if you leave a little bit of seeds, then they will be hotter. But like I said, this time we are going for mild jalapeno poppers, or whatever you want to call these things, boats, taco boats, that's what I'm calling them. So I'm just using my gloved hand, and I am packing that taco meat and cream cheese mix into each of these jalapenos. And that's all I'm going to do for these. I'm putting them on a grill pan. I'm going to take them outside and put them on the grill and just let them get nice and charred on the bottom. I had some issues with my flame here, like right in this area right here. This was just a wicked flame, and so after a while it did calm down, but there at first it was going crazy. And so after the peppers are nice and softened up and have that char from the flame, I just added some shredded sharp cheddar cheese on top. I closed the lid and then let that get melty, and we were done. Just love cooking outside. I get to sit on my swing and watch my husband work in the yard, and my dogs kind of lay around with me. And this is how they turned out. And we just went inside and got our tacos put together. My tacos were pretty simple. I just did some taco meat and some cheese and some hot sauce, and then I topped each of my tacos with some of the holy avocado. It's not guacamole, it's just mashed up avocado on top, and that was my dinner. Okay, I broke this video up as if I didn't make all of this stuff at the same time, which I did, but it totally looks like we are going to follow steps here. So I'm just emptying my vanilla pudding mix into a bowl, and then I'm adding the 2 cups of milk. But I just want to point out that there is a line clearly in this measuring cup that I went past and added a little too much milk to my pudding. And milk and pudding mix is a science, so you kind of have to measure it right. Otherwise, it can be kind of sloppy and not set up right. So we learn. Still edible, still tasted delicious. And I am using the other half of that block of cream cheese just to kind of give the pudding a really rich flavor. And for milk, I am using oat milk, and that is just a preference of mine. I do better when I limit my dairy intake, so that is what I chose to use. And then Here, this is kind of funny because I did not let my Cool Whip thaw. I'm using sugar-free Cool Whip, and so I literally had to just kind of chip away until I was able to get all of this frozen block of Cool Whip mixed in with my pudding and cream cheese mix. But perseverance wins in the end, and I got it all mixed together. Voila. It just took a little bit of time. Anyway, I would suggest letting your Cool Whip thaw. And so next I'm just chopping up, slicing up 2 bananas into my pudding mix. And then because I could not decide if I wanted banana cream pie or coconut cream pie, I decided that I was going to do both. And so I'm just adding some coconut flakes into the pie as well. And I have to say, this was truly delicious. It really was. Even though I got the mixture all wrong and it did not set up in a pie form, which, I mean, I don't make desserts. I'm not good at it, and I'm not going to pretend that I am. So my desserts are always a little imperfect, but it was still tasty, and we will just call it pudding instead of pie. So I'd recommend following the directions, which I did not, and following the directions for pie, not pudding, and also pay attention to the lines on your measuring cups and measure correctly. Otherwise, you might have a soupy pie like I did, but still we just ate it in bowls and it tasted good. Tasted really good, actually. And here is how my piece of pie turned out, and it was delicious. And hubby had a nice dessert for Father's Day, and it was sugar free, so that's a plus. Alrighty, so moving on, we are now on Monday, which was a holiday, so we were home that day, and I decided to do this. Oh my goodness. So I cleaned and painted, or primed and painted my basement while Bill was cooking, and he decided to go and buy a TriTip and cook that in his new smoker that he received for Father's Day. And this is how it turned out. I have no footage of this because, as I showed you, I was in the basement, and he totally made dinner all by himself. He made some mashed potatoes and some green beans to go with our TriTip, and it was so delicious. He did a really good job. Tuesday is my late night at work, which I don't expect anybody to remember that, but it just is. And so usually I am not here to make dinner, and either Bill makes dinner, or I start something in the Crockpot, or they get takeout or something like that. So on this day, I am putting this frozen rock hard pork loin into the Crockpot, and I'm adding some onion soup mix, a can of mushroom soup, a can of water, and then some onions and mushrooms that I had left over from another meal and had put into my freezer. I had a couple of these red skin potatoes that I quartered and threw into the crock pot as well. And then, oh, there I go, mixing things up with a knife. You know, I am not above stirring my food with the knife, the scissors, my hand, whatever. And so I had some, yep, see my hand. And so I had some Brussels sprouts in my freezer as well, so those are getting tossed in just because I wanted to bulk it up with some veggies. And then I decided to add a can of cream of chicken soup on top of that, and I am going to put the lid on and then let that cook on low until Bill comes home from work, and it should be ready to go. Here it is much later in the evening, hence the weird lighting, but I had some of this pork loin and veggies, and it was just super delicious, although it was very hot, and it was very hot outside, so not sure if I was quite in the mood for such a comforting meaty dish, but that's what was for dinner. Since the dinner the night before was so heavy and just kind of stuck with me so long, we are having some sandwiches and mac and cheese. Bill picked up the mac and cheese and just decided that he wanted to have that, although we were having these supersized subs, and I'm just chopping up some lettuce and tomatoes to go on our sandwiches. I picked up these really long French breads from the grocery store on my lunch break, and there is one half missing because Cameron wanted his toasted, and so he has that in our air fryer getting it toasty while I am getting the mayo and the cheeses and some of the meat and stuff on the other pieces of the bread. He did not want any cheese or any mayo on his sandwich. He just wanted it toasted with lunch meat and lettuce. So he is having a very dry, crusty sandwich. Anyway, that's his choice. He can do what he wants. So with the rest of the sandwich stuff, I am just making it up with some honey ham and some oven roasted turkey breast, and I'm just going to put that on both sides. I have some provolone cheese on one half and some sharp cheddar on the other. On the long sandwich, I am adding some tomatoes. I won't put it on the other one because Dawson does not eat tomatoes, and I'm adding some salt and pepper to the tomatoes just because you want that little bit of extra flavor. Gotta have me some salt and pepper on my tomatoes. And then I like my mustard to touch the tomatoes, so that went on next. And then I'm laying the lettuce on the other side. And then I decided that nope, I need a little bit more mayo on this side because, you know, the bacon has to touch the mayo too. So that's the whole reasoning behind how I assembled the sandwich, and I'm just laying those strips of bacon that Bill cooked up on the other half. And it did take two of us to get these sandwiches closed up, but this is how they turned out, and we had some mac and cheese on the side. Thursday morning, I woke up with a hankering for some Chinese food, so I texted my hubby from work and suggested that we either go out for Chinese or order in, and so we ended up going to a buffet. And here is just a quick look at all of our plates, and this was just a day off and a splurge for us, I guess. We are human and we do not cook at home every single day of our life. This was just the one day that we decided to go out and let someone else do the cooking. On Fridays, we have a 6 o'clock Zoom meeting, and I don't get out of work until 5 o'clock, so I try to have something going, or usually Bill cooks, but on this day, I threw 3 chicken breasts into my Crockpot that morning before work, and I just put some fajita seasoning in as well, and then I added this bag of peppers that I had sliced up previously on a different day when I was making a different recipe, and decided to get some of that work out of the way, and I'm glad I did because they came in handy. And then I added a can of tomatoes and green chilies, put the lid on, and then just put it on the lowest setting on my Crockpot, and then let it cook all day while we were at work. And then we would have our chicken fajita mix ready when we got home, and this is what it looked like. I took my spoon and just broke that chicken up into small pieces. You can use 2 forks if you prefer to shred it up really fine, but we were just going to have chunks because that is what I felt like doing on this day. So there's my chicken fajita mixture in the Crockpot all ready to go, and so I am going to just throw on a box of dirty rice and do some beans and rice. So this is just a box that I got from Aldi's. It's the New Orleans style. I'm assuming it's like the Zatarain's version, and we made this before and really liked it, so decided to just do this as a really quick and easy side dish. And once that rice gets all cooked up, then I am just going to add a half a can of my chili beans with the chili sauce and all. And I'm just doing a half a can because I don't want it to be overloaded with beans. We just want a little bit of beans going on in our beans and rice. And so that is it for this really quick and easy side dish. And I'm just going to put that to the side until we are ready to eat. And all I'm going to do to go with these chicken fajita nachos is just slice up some lettuce, tomatoes, avocado, and onion on the cutting board here so that everybody can take what they want. And then here is my plate of food. I have my sliced tomatoes, of course, and my avocados, and a little bit of that beans and rice there. And then I'm just going to take this white queso sauce, because I'm keeping it super easy, remember. So we just picked up a jar of white queso and some tortilla chips, and I'm just going to do my queso on the bottom of the chicken mixture because that's just how I like it. And then I'm going to add some sour cream on top. And of course, we can do this any way we want to, and this is just how I chose to do it. And that is it. That was dinner. So here is my plate of chicken fajita nachos. So delicious, and it's not finished for me until I add my hot sauce, of course. So there we go. That's the finishing touch for me. On Saturday, Bill and I had a date night. We went to a dinner and comedy club in Saugatuck, about an hour away from us on the shore of Lake Michigan. And we both ordered fish and chips and had a very good night. And this is the last dinner of the week, and we'll wrap up this video. Thank you so much for coming by and watching this video. If you enjoyed it and had fun here today, please consider hitting the subscribe button so you can see more of my videos in the future. And I'll see you in the next one.